Girl About Library, and I am here with part 2 of my Q&A. To celebrate reaching 500 subscribers, I asked for some Q's for me to A, and I decided to answer the questions in 2 different videos because I got a lot of questions and they were all really good, and I wanted to be able to devote plenty of time to answering them. If you haven't seen part 1 of this video, I will link it above and below. I have my computer here with the questions pulled up, so let's get into part 2. First question is from Legal Loves Books, and hers was, have you ever had a paranormal experience? This is such a good question, especially since Halloween just passed, but I don't think that I have had a paranormal experience. I have, however, had a lot of moments where I look back on it and I feel like someone must have been looking out for me. You know that feeling of just like, man, thank God things worked out the way that they did, because if I hadn't done X, Y, or Z, it could have been bad. Like an example, the first example of that comes to mind is my son. When I was 35 weeks pregnant, so my whole life up until this moment, I'd always had really low blood pressure, and I mean healthy, normal blood pressure, not too low, but normal blood pressure and low pulse, just generally healthy person. When I was about 35 weeks pregnant though, I noticed that I was getting some swelling, but everything that I read online said that that was super normal, which it is, and I didn't have any of the other symptoms of preeclampsia, so I wasn't really that concerned. But that weekend I went grocery shopping, and while I was grocery shopping, I just had this feeling, I just had this strong urge to go check my blood pressure on the machine that was over by the pharmacy. I've never done anything like that before in my life, and I don't know, I did it. So I checked it, and thank God I did, because it was way higher than it was normal for me or is normal for a pregnant person to have. And so it turned out that I did have preeclampsia, legit preeclampsia, we need to get your baby out ASAP. Thankfully, they were able to control it with medicine, and so I was able to deliver naturally, but it was just, it's just one of those moments where you look back and you're like, if I hadn't taken my blood pressure randomly on that machine at the grocery store, what would have happened? I didn't have another doctor's appointment, with my OBGYN for another week, I don't think, and so I don't even like to think about what could have happened, but I'm just so grateful that that voice from wherever came through, and there are other situations like that. I can't think of any more right now, and we probably don't have time for another story time anyway, but no paranormal experiences, but definitely a lot of angels watching over me type experiences. Question number 2 is from Reading Express, and she asks, if you could switch places with a fictional character, who would it be? So I'm assuming that this is a temporary switch, because just for a day or two. I definitely would not want to switch permanently with this person's position because I love my life. I would pick to switch places with I believe her name would be pronounced Aliena, and she is a character from Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. This book is set in the 1100s, and I just think it would be so cool. I mean, how often, one, do you even read about the 1100s in books, but also just the idea of switching places with someone from that long ago, I just think it would blow my mind. It would also probably be a pretty short-term thing. I'd be there for probably about an hour. I think I'd make it maybe an hour in the 1100s without hand sanitizer and modern medicine and cooking, and I can't only imagine how different it would be, but I do think it would be really cool to experience. The next question is from Lisa and Things, and she asks, if you were to decorate a room in your house to match a book, which would you choose? So this question is posed with me decorating a room, and I'm terrible at that. So I'm going to imagine that someone else is decorating a room for me, in which case I would love if they redecorated my bedroom in the style of Revolutionary Road. Revolutionary Road is a book by Richard Yates, and it is set in the 1950s. So there would be a mid-century modern type vibe to my bedroom, and I think that would be super cool. I love the clean lines and aesthetic of the 1950s, and also there's a very minimalist type vibe to that, and I just really appreciate that. The next question is from Helena Reeds, and she asked, what genre do you wish were more popular on BookTube? Such a good question and such an easy one for me. Nonfiction. Nonfiction all day, and I'm not even really participating that much in nonfiction November just because November is insane for me. And if the genre were more popular, like on BookTube, I think that I would probably have more nonfiction books in my reading just because when I hear about a really good one, I want to pick it up. And so I am excited, even though I can't fully participate in Nonfiction November, I'm so excited for everyone else who is participating and all of the videos that I'm going to watch and all of the book recommendations that I'm going to get from other people. It's gonna be awesome. Because nonfiction, I feel like, is one of those genres where there's a lot of books, obviously, and there's a lot of hidden gems. So I think having more people read it just makes it even more likely to find those. Next question is from Krista of Books and Jams, and she asks, if you could travel to anywhere in the world, where would you go? And if you could travel to any bookish world, which would you choose? Looking at this question, I'm like, everywhere. I would love to travel everywhere. I don't love traveling, like I'm kind of a homebody, but I also want to experience things, and so it's kind of a difficult mix for me. I feel like I haven't been anywhere yet. I did go to Hawaii on my honeymoon, and that was super fun. But other than that, it's like the Midwest and Texas is where I've been. So name a place, and I probably haven't been yet, but I think my answer for this would be the Big Apple. New York City, I think, would be super duper cool. I also just like can't believe that I haven't been there yet. Like, I need to cross that off. That's a major destination that I need to visit. I also have some friends who have done European cruises and loved that. I think that that's a really cool option because you can knock out like a bunch of sightseeing and like country experiencing in the comfort of a cruise ship. So, bookish world I would want to visit is Harry Potter, but only like the Hogwarts related parts. I don't need to end up back like in Muggle territory. That's where I live now. Especially like this time of year and getting into Christmas, like experiencing that world in person would be really cool. Next question is from Mary at Happily Ever Esh, and she asks, what did you study in school? Did you have any favorite classes? And how do you think your reading has changed since BookTube, starting your channel, or since watching? Shockingly, I studied English literature. That was my major, and I minored in education. I had so many favorite classes in college. The university I went to, primarily I would say people think of it as like an engineering and business type program, and so the English department was relatively small, and I loved my professors. I loved like going to a smaller English program and getting like more one-on-one time. I have so many good memories, just like nostalgia for days. But I think probably my favorite class was modern syntax, which was like basically sentence structure and sentence diagramming, which when I started the class, I thought I was going to hate, but it was one of those like rare opportunities to like really dig into something that you think that you know super well, but you don't. And it was like all these doors opened up as far as my understanding, like this is why this sentence works and this sentence doesn't. And I think it's also one of the classes that has stuck with me the longest since graduating, because it just totally changed my understanding of something that I use all day, every day. This wasn't asked, but just my least favorite class, like English related, was creative writing. That was the hardest class I've ever taken, and I had so much respect for writers after taking that class. It is so easy to like criticize someone's writing, and I think that class might also account for why I don't do much of like book ranting, because I have so much respect for people who try, and it was hard, y'all. That was a really hard class. How do I think my reading has changed since joining BookTube? So many ways. The biggest is just, I guess, it feels more focused and like purposeful. I kind of just used to move from book to book. Like I would read a book, love it, read the next book. And now there's more of like a sitting process where I read a book, and as I'm reading it, I'm taking notes. and thinking about what I want to say about it, what I want to share. And yeah, so it feels more purposeful. And it is so nice to no longer wish that I had like people to talk about my reading with. I do. It's so nice. All right, last question is from Hardback Haven, and she asked, what fictional world would you like to live in? The Pillars of the Earth, 1100s, for a day, maybe just a couple of hours. And what fictional character would you have in our world? I pick the same. I pick Eliana from Pillars of the Earth to come here. I think that would be amazing to take someone from the 1100s and bring them into our world and see what that experience would be like. Is there a book like that? Someone should write that book. Let me know below if you read a book like that, because I want to read that now. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're not subscribed yet, click below. Subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.